Okay, good evening, everyone. As our guests continue to arrive, I just wanted to get us going and welcome all of you this evening. Thank you for joining us. Welcome to our new and returning student and family upper school town hall meeting. Tonight's meeting is an information session for upper school families. So once again, thank you so much for joining us. This is our final information session. We've hosted a number over the course of the summer since June, and this is our last opportunity before we all gather in September and we get to meet you and welcome you to Ridley. I speak on behalf of the entire faculty of the upper school and certainly my colleagues on the leadership team in saying that we are so honored and grateful to have you at Ridley and that you have selected Ridley College as your learning community of choice. And also to say that we are really eager to meet your family and your students and welcome you to the bigger Ridley family as well. I hope that you are as excited for the new school year as we are. The Ridley team is hard at work preparing. We're back from the summer and we are preparing for your arrival and certainly preparing for the transformative experience that lies ahead for each and every one of you. Welcome back to our returning Ridley families and students. I hope you had a wonderful summer holiday and can't wait to see you again in September as well. So tonight, as I noted, is our final orientation meeting and a further opportunity for you to hear some really important information, to ask us questions and have those questions answered, to become a bit more comfortable, I hope, with the routines of life at Ridley. And also perhaps to put a face to a name or a name to a face of some of the important players in your upper school's experience. And you're going to get to meet those individuals here in a few minutes. Let me just quickly introduce them to you. In addition to myself, I am the headmaster, Mr. Kidd. Again, I welcome you to Ridley, and I can't wait to meet you in September. We're also going to be hearing from my colleague in the upper school, our upper school head, Mr. Lance Postma. Our nurse manager of the Shimone Health Center, Ms. Teresa Stevens, is going to be talking to you about some important health information. As well, we're really honored to welcome from the Ridley College Family Guild. You're going to learn a little bit more about what the Family Guild is and their role in our community, a very, very important role. And that is our current president, Winnie Standish, and our past president of the Ridley College Family Guild, Miss Jen Coburn. Thank you for joining us this evening. And then finally, we're going to wrap things up with someone who I know many of you know, our Director of Enrollment Management and Admissions, Miss Julie Cameron. So that's what the agenda is for this evening. That's going to take us about 60 minutes. And please don't worry. There's going to be a lot of information coming your way, but this is being recorded, and we will follow up with an email and a link to this recording so you can review it and catch some of the things that perhaps you didn't catch the first time. Just in terms of who is joining us this evening, we have 156 families registered. Currently, it looks like we have about 86 guests in the webinar. And of the registered families, we have families from across the upper school, grade 9 to grade 12, almost an even split. And we also have a number of day students, as well as boarding students, both Canadian domestic boarding students, as well as some international boarding students. Of new families registered, we have 76 new families, and returning families, 80 families, so almost an even split. And I was just looking at the countries that are represented in tonight's town hall meeting. And Canada, Barbados, Bermuda, Cayman Islands, China, Cote d'Ivoire, Cyprus, Germany, Hong Kong, Jamaica, Japan, Macau, Mexico, Nigeria, South Korea, Saudi Arabia, Taiwan, Thailand, Turks and Caicos, and the United States. As I read that, I thought it felt like the opening ceremonies of the Olympics. So, and it gives you a sense of just how global our community is. So once again, thank you so much for joining us. You're going to hear from me at the very end of the session, but I'm going to be turning it over to my colleagues now. If you have questions, please do not hesitate to use the Q&A function in your toolbar on the Microsoft Teams Town Hall. please pose your questions there, and we have a whole team ready and waiting to answer those questions. If we don't answer them tonight, we will follow up with you tomorrow. And then, as I've already mentioned, that we are recording this as well, so for your review. So, without further ado, let me turn it over to Mr. Postma, our upper school head, and he's going to tell you a little bit about your preparations for joining the upper school. Mr. Postma, welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Kidd, and welcome, families. We are so excited, as Mr. Kidd had mentioned, to welcome you, both our returning families, day students and boarding students, but as well as our new students and families that'll be new to the upper school come the fall. We can't wait to see you. And as Mr. Kidd mentioned, we are fully entrenched, getting prepared and getting excited to welcome you to our campus and to start that of the school year. So as Mr. Kidd had mentioned, my purpose here is just perhaps give you some highlights of things you can expect as you prepare for your arrival, to give you a little bit of information, and I hope will be informative and as well as engaging and getting you excited, of course, of coming in here in the fall. Of course, the first thing that's on the agenda would be our Welcome to Ridley Days. So we have 3 bespoke days in which we welcome new students and families to Ridley. It starts all on September 1st with our new boarding student and parent welcome. It's an all-day event. It kicks off right in the beginning with a headmaster's welcome at 9 a.m. and you'll have an opportunity, new boarding students and families, to meet the residential teams right off the bat and come to the welcome and move it forward from there. Lots of opportunities, of course, to meet members of the team, the residential team, faculty, to learn more about the programs available, of course, in the upper school, as well as academic, sports, and co-curriculars and clubs activities. And so it's a full day event, helping, of course, move in and get oriented and meet as many people as possible, and really get to a point where you feel comfortable that's associated with that. I'll just note, of course, this day does include our rising grade 8 boarding students who are new to the upper school, and we welcome those students and their families on that day as well. Moving on to September 2nd, the following day, we will, and this is new for us, we will have our new day in returning boarding students and parent welcome on September 2nd. Again, an opportunity for our new students and returning boarders to come in, move in, and orient. We have a full program for our new day students that will incorporate that with our new boarding students. And that will, there's a mix of opportunity to register, meet the admissions, meet the nurse and health teams, as well as athletics and such, but also to get to know and orient yourself with members of your house. And so it's a full day event, and this also includes our rising grade 8 day students who are new to the upper school. We welcome them and look forward to seeing them on September 2nd. And then finally, our returning day student and parent welcome will be on September 3rd. It's really a half-day event that comes through. Again, opportunity for orientation and registration. And then it features the opportunity for all students to meet their first advisors. All students in the upper school are assigned to an advisor, one that, of course, is an academic and social emotional confidant. And there will be their first meetings, their first house meetings will come forward, and ends the day with a year favorite, an annual favorite of the upper school pep rally. Is all part of our return, our third day, September 3rd, returning day student and parent welcome associated with that. And just a reminder, of course, Ridley for over 20 years has started the school year with really an intense but really satisfying opportunity for students to come together, to really curate that sense of belonging and rekindle the connections that students have made in the past. And of course, new students having the opportunity for them to come into the fold. And by doing a number of different outdoor leadership events and activities together. So have a shared experience right before any of the program starts, before school starts, before sports starts, clubs and activities, tutorials, the academic rigor, an opportunity for all students to come together from grades 9 to grade 12 right after our Welcome Days events on the Wednesday on September 4th, departing right early in the morning to go to camp. It is a favorite, and I know every year this comes up in graduation where graduates, upon reflection of their experiences at Ridley, mention camp time and time again as one of their favorite activities to start the school year, but even their favorite activity, one of their favorite activities as they come forward in their overall Ridley experience. So we look forward to that. And then, of course, we add on a second day of camp for only the grade 12. So it's our senior retreat where both the boys and girls come together and have an overnight experience, one-day experience, coming together on the senior retreat, which follows, and then they return to campus in preparation for school on the following Monday. And just on that note, the areas, of course, that we travel, we've had wonderful relationships with the camps that were involved. The girls will go to Camp White Pine, the boys to Onondaga, Camp Onondaga, and the senior retreat is held at Muskoka Woods. These camps are about 3 hours north of the campus in the northern climes of Ontario. And again, just a wonderful opportunity to bring students together, a shared experience, and to deepen the sense of belonging and connection through those activities. And you can see some of the pictures of some of the activities that they're involved with and engaged to really get hold of the opportunities with their friends and their housemates, as well as members of their grade. Couple of reminders and updates, especially for those new students, especially boarding students coming to us, and for all, the school startup page, which can be found on the website. If you visit the website and go to the opening page, and you'll see admissions. If you click on admissions, you'll then see a link to the school startup page. That is where you're going to see access to all of the major dates calendar of the upcoming school year, frequently asked questions, supply lists, checklists for camp and what to bring to camp, technology requirements, and any other updates that would be pertinent to help get prepared for the start of the school year. Especially of note is that of our international students who are coming to Canada, obviously coming to Ridley. We have partnered with the Toronto Dominion Bank, and they will be on campus to help students who are interested in opening youth accounts. And they will be here on both Sunday, September 1st, and then return again on Tuesday, September 3rd. So that'll be an opportunity for those families and students interested in opening up a Canadian bank account here, or youth accounts. There'll be an opportunity to do that. And similarly, we have partnered with Best Buy. It's a local electronics shop, amongst other things, within walking distance here at the campus. They're going to assist students with purchasing phones and phone plans and cellular plans that they can use while they're here, obviously in Ontario and in Canada. And there will be a representative there on Tuesday. So we're encouraging, and we'll remind students, of course, who are interested in this, that they can come back to registration and meet with representatives there in order to open up accounts and cellular plans at that time. We will, just of note too, that students arriving after September 4th, we won't be able to provide the same level of welcome that we would do during our Welcome to Ridley Days. And we've also known through experience, and especially through the pandemic, that a Ridley experience is best seen and best understood when it is in person. But we also understand that students arriving after September 4th, if they choose, we can notify admissions, and we can work through a welcome process in order to help with the arrival after September 4th. In similarity, I know that there has been some challenges, and maybe some of you have experienced this through that. There are delays with the processing of international visas and study permits. And we know we are monitoring and helping through that whole process. And if you cannot come to school with a valid study permit and make your way to campus, students should really understand, and families should understand that we will support them in the short term. There's no doubt about that. So not to worry, we will move forward with that type of support. But we do expect, if you can, and it's accessible, that you arrive on campus in person for in-person learning at school. So, and just a reminder around documentation that must be provided to admissions to support any delay in your arrival. Okay, we'll continue, as I mentioned, to monitor those types of situations as they come available. Our school uniform, of course, it's a quintessential part of expectation around students and what students wear at Ridley. It's quintessential Ridley. That's associated with that. Monday through Thursday, students wear their classroom dress. You can see the picture there up on the screen of what is permissible to be worn for tops, and then bottoms and black shoes go with the uniform. Uniform items are on sale through Hanks by shopping online through shopridley.ca, and that's available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Fittings and appointments can be booked online now and available. Alterations, our sewing room is here currently and open during really business hours, and no appointments required. If there's fittings or alterations that are required, they can be on you can be on campus and you can get that done and work with our sewing counterparts in the sewing room, and they will have those alterations completed for you. Returns and exchanges, again, our campus store, Hanks, is open for that and by appointment. So please call the number that you have there or make an appointment, and that'll be all part of it as well. If you're interested in sort of gently used clothing, the Ridley College Family Guild certainly has an opportunity to have for purchase recycled uniforms or gently used uniform programs. So if that is of interest as well. And just as I mentioned, uniforms are available to be ordered on shopridley.ca. In terms of ordering and how you receive those, orders for boarding students will be delivered to the boarding houses before arrival, and day students, you will receive communication from the school, from Hanks, that your uniform has arrived. There is a limited number of fitting rooms, but they are available. But they can be picked up, uniforms can be picked up on time. We're asking that students perhaps try those clothes at home, and then, if necessary, come back to receive and get any alterations that are necessary. Some technology reminders. We certainly recommend that all students require and purchase an Apple MacBook laptop. This is a staple, of course, within the process in the one-to-one school. The device setup, we encourage students and maybe families to really help their child's electronic devices and set them up before arriving on campus. This will just ensure opportunity to get onto Wi-Fi and get set up for school. I will note, of course, that during our welcome days, our IT team will be readily available to support that process should you need extra help. I know there has been some communications to sort of help along with some of this as well that's been sent out, but certainly the team will be available during our welcome days. And in fact, the day before school, they will be going into the houses, and certainly the first couple days of school, they will be supporting students in the houses to help them in case there's device setup issues or concerns, and we will have that come forward as well. And then, of course, there's the help desk that's open during the academic hours. Students can also get support from IT with any challenges they have with device setup or connecting with the Ridley Wi-Fi. I think this has already happened, but I believe that information through email to returning grade 7 and 12 students has been sent out and been received to help connect with the new Ridley Wi-Fi, the upgrade. It's called TigerLink. It is the new campus Wi-Fi network. And we just draw that attention if you've received that, to take a look at it. It's not the same as it was last year. So make sure that you are looking at to configure the TigerLink on your device prior to your arrival. And then any instructions on laptop or set up your child's device can be found at the school startup page, as I mentioned before. Just a quick overview of the school year. I think this may be the school schedule. Yes, the daily schedule. You can really see the priorities of a school by just looking at its schedule. And certainly there is some purpose in the schedule in order to support students in their learning and their opportunities through the program throughout. So one of the things a number of years back we looked at is the research behind the circadian rhythm of students and sleep patterns and delayed sleep. Requiring, of course, we know that for learning and well-being, sleep is an important component of that. Hence the late start that we have at the beginning of the school day. In our period 1, we have 4 periods per day, starting at 9:10 a.m. And run through. Most of our students, of course, are operating with up to 8 courses per day, but they don't have to have or not taught 8 courses a day. They are split in half with an A1 day and a B day, so an A day and a B day, to help manage the load that's associated with that, and then we move it forward. You'll notice sort of in pink in between period 1 and period 2, there is MSIP. It's the multi-subject instructional period. These are built into our schedule 3 days a week and give students the opportunity to meet with their teachers right in the middle between periods. So it has students have some agency as to how they use this time. Many, of course, use the time as an extension of perhaps homework or work that they're working on, assignments and such. And many also take the opportunity to meet with teachers as an informal meeting or tutorial, if you will, to meet with their teacher without having the distraction of any lesson that may be going on, where the teacher is free as well. So that's an important feature, I think, for students. It's well received. It also provides, in many cases, a well-deserved and necessary mental break before going into their next classes. Lunch happens. We have 1 hour lunch. It's frantic. It's great. But from 12:05 to 1:05, there's lunch. And quite often there's the case that we have clubs and activities. And sometimes meetings will happen during that lunch hour too. So it's very bespoke and not just necessarily for sustenance and getting ready for the afternoon. Right after lunch, we have community time. An important component around this. We either have chapel or assembly. Chapel generally happens twice a week, and then house meetings on Tuesday. And I should mention that as our returning students would understand, that every student belongs to an advisory group and assign an advisor. It's built right into the schedule. The advisors will meet their advisees twice a week, Tuesdays in the morning and on Thursdays in the afternoon. So about 90 minutes contact time with their advisor each week for a variety of different reasons, but it is an important mainstay and that trusted adult that one of the trusted adults that students have in the upper school, and meet with them built in right into the schedule. Moving on through this period 3 and period 4, again, all of our classes generally are 70 minutes long. And plenty of opportunity for varied instruction. Paying attention, of course, to varied parts of the learner, the diversity of learning, and opportunities for students to practice and deepen their learning within the instructional period. And in the morning, as well as the afternoon, we have our sports periods that occur. And this is where all students, of course, are engaged in at least 4 periods of sport through the week. And that includes on Saturdays, where we have Saturday programming and sports programming, especially if those individuals are engaged in a travel team or a varsity team. And in the evening from 7:30 to 9:30, students are engaged. Boarding students certainly have study hall. Day students are quite often associated with that. Of course, you'd be in the house. And then there's also a mixture of opportunities for students to meet their teachers either online or in person on campus. And we look forward to resuming that as we start the school year, especially perhaps in our new spaces that become available for us. So those are some of the highlights I mentioned. Of course, I mentioned 4 classes a day, 1 hour lunch, 2 advisory sessions, a built-in subject area tutorial built into the schedule 3 times a week, and then evening tutorials to really have students engage with teachers each week and each evening. Long weekend breaks. As you may know, if you take a look at the major dates calendar, Ridley has 5 long weekends. And we have an early release prior to those weekends with shortened classes that happen with the departure around 12:30, or at least classes end at 12:30. And this generally happens on a Thursday. And then we have, of course, those are the 5 weekends that we have throughout the school year that are there, those long weekends that are in place. And then on long weekends, there's lots of choice that students often have. We remain open at Ridley through these long weekends, so students can choose to stay. If a boarding student, you can choose to stay at Ridley and stay in the confines of your house and in your room if you so desire that, or you have options to stay with your friends, and quite often that is the case where families will take in a boarding student, a friend of a boarding student to come in and obviously get a cultural exchange, a family exchange that is associated with that. There are homestay options that are available, or they can participate in a school organized travel. So each weekend, each of those 5 weekends, there is also opportunity for students to travel beyond the gates of Ridley and experience parts of Canada and maybe perhaps parts of North America and the United States are a part of that. Here's some examples of that. The first long weekend, the Thanksgiving long weekend, there's an opportunity for students to go to Ottawa. And the November long weekend, organized trip to go to New York City. And in February, an opportunity to ski in one of Canada's premier ski resorts, ski and snowboard resorts in Mount Tremblant, Quebec. And then another opportunity in April to visit Quebec City. And then the final long weekend, the May long weekend, an opportunity to visit one of the historic U.S. cities of that of Philadelphia. So I think that's it for me. I hope you found this. I know we went through it quite quickly. Lots of opportunities, lots of things to be thinking about. Can't wait to see you here in the fall. And I hope this has been informative and helpful for you. And we'll see you soon with that. So with that, I will hand this over to our nurse manager, Mrs. Teresa Stevens, for a Chemung Health and Wellness Center update. Teresa.
Great. Thank you, Mr. Postma, and good evening to all of our families on the call tonight. I'm Teresa Stevens. I'm the nurse manager of the Ridley College Chemung Health and Wellness Center. I'm going to start this evening off with talking about Magnus. You want to go to the next slide? Thank you. So Magnus Health, this is our school electronic health records system. The due date for completion of your children's medical health forms is tomorrow, August 15th. We do require that these forms be completed as soon as possible, hopefully by tomorrow. This allows us time in the health center to review all of the students' medical information that you are submitting and sharing with us and prepare for their arrival on campus, both for our day and boarding students, as we need to prepare to make sure that our students are safe while they're with us at campus at Ridley College. If you are having any trouble with completing the forms, please send me an email. We'll be able to discuss anything that's not able to be completed by the 15th, and then we can review what we really need to have in order to have a safe arrival and safe stay of your child at Ridley. Next slide, please. If you are having any trouble with accessing Magnus, so Magnus, as I mentioned, it's the school's electronic health record system. It is located on TigerNet. When you go to the Ridley College website and you log in, that is you logging into TigerNet. You will see a resource page, and Magnus is an icon right on the resource page. There's no separate password for that. If you do not recall your user ID or your temporary password that you would have received earlier on after you've registered your child, please reach out to Sarah Karklins at ridleycollege.com. She will be able to reset any user ID or password information for you. Thank you. A little bit about the health services on campus. We're very fortunate that Ridley College does have a health services. We have a very well-suited building that stands alone on campus, allowing us to have the privacy that we need to run health services. In addition, there is nurses on site 7 days a week. For day and evening to be able to support your students. When I say students, I'm talking both day and boarding. We are here for everybody. So at any time that your child feels that they need an assessment or to talk to one of the nurses, they can come over. No appointment is required. They just walk in to see one of the nurses. If there's any reason that a child needs to see us outside of our operating hours, because we do close at 11 p.m. at night, if something happens in the middle of the night, your child wakes up feeling unwell and they live on campus, they are able to still reach the nurse, and the nurse is still able to come in and see them. We are on call. If required, the health services on campus is also able to support overnight care. So should your child be ill and not able to return to their dorm, they will stay in the health services with a nurse for one-on-one nursing care until they're well enough to return to the dorm and regular school programming. We also have 3 physicians that work for us at Ridley. So they are local physicians in our community that have their own private practices that also come to Ridley 4 days a week and hold clinics. So these physicians will act as our boarding students and our international day students, primary care physicians while they're here with us. And throughout the duration of the school year, they'll be able to have routine appointments and follow up on any sort of medical concerns that students are arriving to school with, or anything that happens while they are at school. In addition, there are times that our day families, or sorry, not families, but the day student may need to see a school doctor as well. We, of course, want you to maintain all relationships you have with your own family doctors and healthcare providers that are local for our day students. Those are your primary care physicians. But if there's a situation where you need the support, you're not able to see your family doctor and for it within a reasonable time, we are able to support as needed, and that would just require a conversation with myself in order to make that arrangement for you. So we try to have a family-centered model of care when it comes to the health services on campus. Of course, we are caring for your children. You're trusting your children with us, and we want to make sure that we are as able sharing our information back to families so that you're fully aware of what's happening with your child while they're here at Ridley College. Of course, all Ontario privacy laws apply, but we do our best for consents, for communication, just as we would hope that if anything is happening with your child over a break, over a long weekend, or anything that you may know, that you are also sharing with us so that we can keep your children safe and happy while they're at Ridley College. Next slide, please. Just to discuss a bit about the international insurance, we work with a company called GuardMe. They provide the school with all of its international insurance policies, as well as our domestic travel insurance. So any child from grade 7 and up, domestic child, also gets enrolled in our travel insurance as they participate with many different school activities and programs, whether it be clubs or sports, and there may be times when they're leaving Ontario. So this is an automatic enrollment. There is no additional steps for any family boarding or day to do. Any boarder who does not have a provincial or territory health card will automatically be enrolled in the international plan. In addition, so any domestic child will be automatically enrolled in the travel domestic plans as well. If you are eligible for an Ontario health card, but you do not have one yet because you're not currently living in Ontario, If you are eligible and you are wanting to apply for an Ontario Health Card, please send me an email. We are able to support that for you. And if there is plan to apply for an Ontario Health Card, we would do a prorated international insurance plan just for the time that is needed while we work with you and your child to register them with their Ontario Health Plan. So again, please communicate with me. My email's up on the slide there, and we'll get things in process for you with that. We do not work with any outside insurance companies. If you are traveling to Canada and you've purchased some additional insurance, you can continue to hold that additional insurance for yourself if you feel it's needed, but you will also be enrolled with GuardMe, as there's no exception to that enrollment. Next slide, please. In working with GuardMe, as I mentioned, we do try to make sure that we are communicating as much back to families as able. We have a microsite that you're able to access. So it's guard.me at Ridley College. This site will enable you to be able to log in. You can pull your child's policy certificates, policy wording information to see what is covered. You can track any claim submissions. In addition, there is several other available, I guess they would say resources is the word, sorry. With GuardMe, there's a mobile doctor, there's access to mental health services, and many more services through GuardMe that are all free, or I should say included in the plan with the international insurance plan and domestic travel plan. And if your child wants to access any of those, they need to log into their GuardMe portal to do that. So any child in grade 7 through 12, they will receive their login credentials for their GuardMe sites within the first few weeks of school. It's going to go directly to their Ridley College inbox and provide them with a username and password. They can certainly share that with the parents, and so you can support them as well with any insurance needs as needed from afar. Next slide, please. Just as we're talking about health services, we also want to make mention to medication. Having a health services on campus means you do not need to send your child to school with any over-the-counter medications. We have the ibuprofens, the paracetamols, etc. at the health services in order to support your child with any minor ailments they may have. So please do not send any over-the-counter medications with them. If they have any prescribed medications, please send that with your child to school. We do require that all of the prescription medications are held in the health center. That's not to say that we do not get that. We require the students to come to see us daily. Some cases, a student will have to come in to see us every day in order to get their medication. But there are also cases where we are working with the child with understanding from the family as well, and trying to build their responsibility and independence with their medication administration as they're going to be continuing these medications once they leave Ridley as well. And so we work with families, and we can provide the student with a dosette, fill them up with a certain amount of day supply, and see the children or the child maybe once a week or every 3 days, depending on the responsibility level and the medication, of course. So we do hold all of the prescription bottles at the health center, and we will dispense small quantities depending on the care plan we put together for that student. Of course, there's an exception to that, and that would be any emergency medications. If your child is an asthmatic or has an anaphylactic allergy or requires any rescue medication for seizures or other, of course, those medications stay with your child at all times. Next slide, please. So if you have any questions related to health services, supporting your child while they're here at Ridley College, please send an email. This is the general inbox to the health services. All of the nurses have access to this. We will get back to you. We are on campus now, so if you have questions now, you can certainly email us and we will get back to you with anything health services related. We're looking forward to meeting all of you and your children during our opening days. Thank you. I'm going to pass off now to Winnie Standish and Jen Colburn of the Ridley College Family Guild. Have a wonderful night.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Winnie Standish, and I am joined by Jen Colburn this evening as well. And I am this year's president of the Ridley College Family Guild. But I am also a parent at the school. I have 2 girls, the one who's going into grade 11 in upper school, and one that is going into grade 8, which is middle school. For those of you who are new to Ridley, I just want to take a minute to talk a little bit about what the Family Guild is, because we are a parent-driven volunteer organization with more than 100 years of service to the school. And it's really important to note that every single parent and guardian is automatically a member of the Family Guild. So that means you do not need to further enroll into anything. But as a guild member, you do have a unique opportunity to make a difference by getting involved. And I get it, some of you are far away, but there are many different ways that we can get involved at the school. So it doesn't all require in-person participation. So whether it's volunteering your time or attending our social events, supporting fundraisers, your participation really matters, because what is really important is that we get the opportunity to build community with fellow parents, with our students, and with the broader Ridley community, such as the teachers. Because as you have probably heard over and over again by now, our school's motto, "May we be consumed in service." It's more than just words. It's a call to action. And it's really one that allows us as parents the privilege to show to our children what it means to serve, to give back, and to continue to create all of those positive ripples that extend far beyond our campus and lives. So I hope you will join us in this shared mission. Next, I'm going to hand it over to Jen Coburn, who is also our past president, but she is acting today as our mentor chair, and she's going to talk a little bit about our mentor program.
Good evening, everyone. As mentioned, my name is Jen Coburn, and I am the mentor chair for the Ridley College Family Guild. I'm also the Christmas market chair, and you'll be hearing from me very soon about that. I'm also the past president of the Guild. I'm a current parent, a past parent, a Ridley graduate, and if you couldn't tell, an incredibly proud Tiger. My family and I live in Niagara-on-Lake, and I'm lucky enough to get to lead some amazing local wineries in my other life. The mentor program is a very special part of the Family Guild. It's made up of parent volunteers who welcome all new families to the Ridley community and provide support for you and your family in your first year here at Ridley. You should have received an email from your mentor in the last few days, or they should be coming very soon, with a small introduction and welcome. Please feel free to reach out to your mentor for any questions you may have. We're all here and we're happy to help. This is where relationships are created parent to parent. Meet up for coffee, get together. This is where relationship building begins at Ridley. We continue this program all throughout Ridley Startup Days. Mentors are on hand at socials, immersion programs, as well as the Parent Lounge, alongside the IT and the other groups that are set up on your welcome days, to greet new families and to meet you face to face. Come and visit us when you come to campus during Ridley Days. We have a great space to meet, to get to know one another, share a cup of coffee. It's also a great place to take a deep breath when you're bringing your kids to Ridley for the first time. It can be a big day for parents too. Once classes start, you'll be introduced to your class and house representatives. They will continue to share information about the Guild and Guild activities throughout the year. We're extremely excited to meet you in the coming weeks, and very certainly at Ridley Startup Days. Winnie?
Oh, thank you very much, Jen. And with that, I'd like to formally invite you to our very first general meeting of the year, which is happening on Monday, September 23rd. And this meeting is available both in person and online via Zoom. We will be sending out a sign-up link closer to the date. We usually send out a monthly newsletter, so keep an eye out for the links on that, and then join our socials as well. We have our own link tree with all of our information shared that we will be sending out to you so that you can keep up to date on all of our events. And speaking of events, if we can have the next slide, we have a lot of events coming up, starting with our Recycled Uniform Boutique, which is opening as of September 26th. And that is our gently used Ridley clothes store that serves as an opportunity to really give some really great clothes a chance at a little bit more life, but also support our fundraiser, which we then give back to the school. So it's a way to both support the school and the environment at the same time. So in addition to that, we also have a whole bunch of fun events that I highly encourage that you add to your calendar right now. So take a screenshot of this list of events. And then if you are local or if you're planning on coming to town, maybe pick one of those weekends that you can join us for one of these really fun parent events, and that would be a great opportunity for you to come out and meet a bunch of other parents and really feel a part of Ridley, which is what we want for all of our parents here. So that is it for the Family Guild this evening. Thank you so much for your time. If you have any questions for either myself or for Jen, you can reach out through the Family Guild social accounts or through our email. And next, I'm going to hand it over to Julie Cameron, who is our Director of Enrollment Management and Admission.
Thank you, Jen. Thank you, Winnie. That was honestly fantastic. We're so lucky to have you as part of our community. And I hope for our families on the call today, we would certainly encourage you to be joining and reaching out to the Family Guild. It is a tremendous group to be a part of. Next slide, please, Rachel. So I'd like to extend on behalf of the entire admissions team, several who are joining us on the chat this evening. Thank you so much for joining us. I know with various time changes for some of you on this call, it's the middle of the night. And so it is really true commitment to sign up and to be here with us. And we are so grateful. I'm really thrilled to share with you that Ridley is opening yet again with its largest enrollment in the school's history. So another very exciting milestone for us for this opening program, September 2024. We will be welcoming over 250 new students in our lower school, middle school, and our upper school. So please know as your child comes, they are not alone. There is a lot of new candidates to the school that we are very excited about. You can see some demographics that are listed here, just some breakdown of students within the local community and also the greater Niagara region as well. I would also like to say congratulations to your child for being offered enrollment at the school. It is a competitive process, so we really are excited to have them come in and realize everything that Ridley has available to offer them. Next slide, please. So this particular slide, this will really speak to any of our international families on the call this evening, and I know we do have quite a few. And by international families, that is defined by those who do not hold Canadian citizenship or permanent residency status. So for all our new and returning international families, we do ask that you log into your TigerNet account to access the immigration checklist. You're going to upload as many documents as you possibly can that are cited in the checklist, and we ask that you do that prior to arriving at Ridley. The one you will not be able to upload is going to be your official study permit, which you will be granted when you present yourself to the Canada Border Services agent in Toronto Airport. You will be given in advance of that a letter of approval saying you can travel, you do have your study permit, and it'll be issued to you upon arrival in Canada. But if you can kindly upload those documents as much as possible in advance, it's tremendously helpful for our systems and our databases. And then it also allows us in the admissions office to be tracking your child's documents and expiry dates and sending various prompts. And then we do have our associate director on the team, Mrs. Jenna Cameron, who is accredited in immigration counseling and can also assist with perhaps questions that you may have. Next slide, please. So study permits for new students, as I mentioned just briefly, you are going to present when you receive your letter of introduction to Canada Border Services. You will answer their questions, and there will be, you'll have a multitude of documents you'll bring with you. Everything from tuition receipts, your letter of acceptance, the checklists are all documented, and we have sent out information related to that. Please know this, Canada Border Services is going to issue your study permit. We have no control over how long they will issue your study permit for. Generally speaking, what we are seeing is a 2-year duration, although you could be presented with a 1-year in duration. If your child receives a 1-year duration study permit, and of course they're continuing on with Ridley, please know that we will be helping them, and then we will have a renewal done within Canada, which is much quicker than it is done overseas. If you have any questions related to your study permits, and Mr. Postma spoke a bit about this, where we did have, we have about 8 students right now who are still awaiting their study permits, but we've been in contact with the various embassies. They have been marked as urgent for processing. As soon as that happened, just today, we had 3 that were required to attend for medicals. So please know we are monitoring all of this. However, if you haven't been in touch with admissions to let us know that there is a delay, if you have, we already have you on our list. If you haven't been in touch with the admissions team, please contact us right away tomorrow so we can have that conversation with you. But we do believe that they are expediting it. IRCC definitely this year, the processing times seem to have taken longer, which is unfortunate. However, when we know, we are reaching out to our contacts, and we will get your child supported as they make their way into Canada. Next slide, please. So this is the checklist that I was speaking a little bit about, and it'll just show you everything we highly recommend that you present as you arrive in Canada as an international student requiring a study permit. Please note also, our American friends, albeit just south of the border, you do need a study permit also to be studying in Canada. So if you have any questions regarding that, again, don't hesitate to reach out to the admissions team. We're there. We're happy to look into that for you and provide you with anything that you may require to ensure that you have a seamless experience as you enter Canada. Next slide, please. So this one really talks a little bit about accommodation locally and also transportation to the school. So we work with a fantastic provider, Niagara Airbus. If your child is traveling alone, or for example, again, some of our international parents may not have their visitor visa approved yet. If your child has to make their way to Canada, please know we can arrange for pickup with our providers. They're brought right to campus. We can track all of that for you. If you need any assistance with accommodation or hotel recommendations, we're here to help with all of that. School Startup page has much of this information as well. If your child is traveling alone, and again, they can't reach their custodian if something should occur, they're not sure, please take note of this Ridley Security phone number. Again, also noted in our School Startup, if they need to reach Ridley, that particular phone is manned 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. If your child is has registered with ISGC, and Jacqueline Bryant is your custodian for your child, they also have a 24-hour emergency hotline, and they work hand in hand with us. So again, please know it does seem like a lot if your child is traveling on their own. We've been doing this for a long time, very familiar with it. We are there to help. So please know you just need to reach out to us and make note of these important numbers. So day busing, day students at Ridley. So it is quite amazing. This is our 2nd year of busing at the school. I will say the buses, we have 5 in total. They do begin the first week of school, actually on September the 4th. What you're going to find as upper school parents, if you're an upper school day parent, is that sometimes we'll see the upper school students coming in the morning if perhaps they didn't have a co-curricular or they weren't rowing early in the morning. But I would say the vast majority of students who use our buses coming in the morning and leaving at the end of the day at 4:40 tend to be our lower school and our middle school students. Our upper school students are it's a very unique proposition in that many of them stay from morning till night. And so they're involved in various clubs and co-curricular programs, extra study, house meetings. So the buses do run at the times that are indicated here on the slide. And again, most of our parents are coming later in the evening to pick their child up, but the busing is open certainly for our upper school day students. If you have not already done so in registering your child for busing, please be in contact with my team tomorrow and we'll help you through that. It's amazing how full our buses have become this year, which is really exciting, but we would ask you to be in touch with us as soon as you possibly can. Next slide, please. This one is a big slide. I always highlight it, and I know that for some of our parents, there are so many questions, right? You just want to, where's that checklist and where do I find this? I honestly want to say to you, you will find it here. Our school startup page on our website, which Mr. Postma referenced earlier, is so comprehensive. And so you can go through everything that is here. If you spend some time just reading through it, it'll really, really alleviate any fears or concerns, or I don't know what this is. But again, the information is there. If for some reason you can't find it, you don't know what that looks like, please, again, reach out to the admissions team. We remain your primary contact until such time as you are formally incoming at the school, but we have a team that is there to help you. But invaluable resource, and everything was just loaded up, including school startup schedule based on your enrollment category, was loaded yesterday. So it's very current and everything is present at that location. And so next slide, you can take a look here, also a little bit more specifically for boarding students. So boarding information, there's a lot to know when your child is coming as a boarder, but again, just incredibly informative, and we're here to assist, and anything you might need, just don't hesitate to ask. Next slide, Rachel. Well, it is now my absolute pleasure to say thank you so much for joining us. I am handing things back over to Headmaster Ed Kidd, and he's going to chat a little bit about a very special event, the Headmasters Marche. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Cameron. I'm just going to conclude with everyone just to a special invitation to the Headmasters Marche, which is happening next Wednesday, August 21st. It's an evening event. It's for adults in our community, both the Ridley community, but also the broader Niagara community. So if you happen to be in Niagara, if you live here or if you're traveling through, we would love to see you out for the Headmasters Marche. It is in support of a very special charity, and one that Ridley has supported for many years, the United Way of Niagara. And it features is an evening outside under the big tent in front of the upper school front circle, and a wonderful opportunity to meet some members of the Ridley family and the broader Niagara community, enjoy some food and drink from local vendors. Various wineries from Niagara will be here, as well as some live music as well. So hope you can join us for that. If you are not available, and if we don't see you on August 21st, we're really excited to welcome you to Ridley during the Welcome to Ridley Days. For some of you, we'll see you on Sunday, September 1st, or the 2nd, or the 3rd. Please, we encourage you to be here and to enjoy and participate in all 2 or 3 days of orientation. There's a lot to learn, more to learn, and more relationship building to occur. So we're looking forward to seeing that. Thank you very much for being with us this evening. We hope you found this informative and useful. If you have any further questions, please do not hesitate to reach out. We're here to answer any of your questions and to address any of your concerns. Thank you very much to all of our presenters this evening, and stay tuned for a follow-up email where you will receive a recording of this presentation, as well as a link to the Headmasters Marche if you're planning on attending. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Again, we're so excited to welcome you in September. Can't wait. Have a wonderful evening. Thank you.